Yes, okay, alright, everyone. So, today we are going on the next episode about the ALA Strategy recap. So, as we ended on the last episode, we ended on Friday and we are now on August 2026, the first week of August 2026, and we are going to do the recap of this week. So, the first thing you need to have is this. You need to have this indicator section by Lux Algo. Yeah, then you on the setting you're going to filter the New York session, and you remain with the Asian and London session. So before we start our week, we need to analyze the previous day, Friday. So we are going to start with the Friday. You take your volume profile, you move from the Asian beginning to the London. So we got our support and resistance. Forget about this middle one. This one is the point of control. I'm not gonna use that point of control. As you can see, a point of control always shows the highest volume that were used, but we're not going to use that on this strategy. So the price broke on the upper side, so we're going to mark this side. The price broke on the upper side. Okay, so the price broke on the upper side. Once it broke, it came back and retested this area once. This one was our first entry signal, so you need to enter before the London is closed. After this London is closed, you cannot use this setup. You're supposed to wait for this setup to make up. So because we entered before this Asian was closed and the entry was right here. We have this fair value gap right here. Put it above the fair value gap. Above the fair value gap, and my TP is always here. Support, target, resistance, target, support. Yeah, but if you get more used to this, you will target this low, this low right here, but you see you will get that much greedy and the market never tapped that. So out of greedy, this one is a 1:2 risk to reward ratio on Monday. You get an entry on Monday. Most of the strategy never give you entry on Monday because they say that Monday is just accumulating too much, but the other strategy just give you a entry model on Monday. So the next thing is marking the Asian and the London session on. Now that was on Friday, give us an entry on Monday. Now we are using on Monday to get an entry somewhere. So because the price broke on the lower side, we are going to use this support. Now because it just broke, now it's gonna be our resistance. Let's see how it was used. As you can see, it was never used. It never gave us an entry model. Okay, because it never gave us an entry model, some people, you can see we had a rejection right here. Yeah, this one was an entry, but it was so risky, too risky. Yeah, you could enter because on the line chart shows that we broke, then we came back and retest. The retest, it is right here. This is the retest. You can see that's the retest. We broke, we came back and retested the zone. Same applies to the previous day. So meaning that the entry was valid. Let's see how it could have played. If you could enter right here, your stop loss be below this liquidity and your take profit on this let me say, now this one is the resistance now. Okay, that's your entry. And then the same day on Tuesday we get another setup. This day was too accumulating. It's accumulating much. So what am I doing? Shall mark the Asian to London. Need to be precise. Okay, we got our support and resistance right there. So after we got our support and resistance, you mark again because it's on the upper side. You mark it again. You can see the first move, it was never right. The first move never takes the first move. The first move sometimes it's maybe a manipulation, like this here will be a manipulation, but then we get this another entry model right here. Yeah, the first move will be a manipulation, so we use this another entry model. The same thing applies when we entered on this candle below this liquidity. Yeah, because there's a liquidity right here, so I don't wanna risk that. Target, take profit, the same area. Let me see, take profit, the same area. Okay, so bang. Okay, we just hit two birds with one stone. Monday got an entry, Tuesday we got an entry. two entries I mean. Then on Wednesday, coming back on Wednesday, yeah, you mark your Asia and London as usual. Marking your Asian and London, we got our support and resistance. Now this one, if it breaks on the inner side, you are looking for a sell. So it broke on the inside, and what for entry, you should wait for a rejection candle. Okay, so no rejection candle, no rejection. Yeah, we had two rejection candle, but this rejection candle, yeah, this one was an entry. So if yeah, okay, now this one is an entry after this rejection candle with a lower risk. Yeah, this week was no news, so people are just trading aggressively. Okay, and your target right here. So this one went for a loss. This one went for a loss. It's not happening. This one was a loss because the target was supposed to be here, but then the market reversed. If you aimed this point of control as your first TP, you could have take profits. Yeah, you could have take profits, but the profit will be like 1:2. Yeah, you could have take that profit, but the main aim is always here. Now this one was a loss. This one was a loss. Very easy loss. So on Thursday, on Wednesday, we had a loss. And on then after getting a loss, you don't give up because you have the risk management. You are managing your risk very well. So that we took a loss. So here we have like our support and resistance area. And the price is very sure on the resistance. On the support, I mean. Yeah, I call it resistance because we just broke it. We broke this support now and it became a resistance. Okay, that's one confluence. The other thing you need to know is here we have a fair value gap. The fair value gap, the reason why the market is so accumulating at that zone is because we have a fair value gap. Now you could use this fair value gap because you are seeing that the price is not breaking on the fair value gap. As you can see clearly, the price is not breaking of this fair value gap, and you could take that as an entry confirmation. Your stop loss above this zone. Remember, this zone is very strong. Yeah, maybe above this zone here, because it might come and sweep that area. And our TP, where should we put our TP? So we had this area that was not touched. That could be our first TP. That will be our first very own TP. And we also had this area that was used perfectly. Now these two areas, you could use your first TP. No, you can use the previous areas for TP, but you cannot use the previous area for entry, but for TP you can use them. So if I could use this area, or maybe put to this area, because this area also had some liquidity. So that was my entry, and that was 1:2 risk to reward. 1:2 risk to reward. And today we are on a Friday. So on a Friday, the end of this week, if you mark your Asian to London session, you will see that we have a very nice move. So what we are waiting for this week is tonight. I'm waiting for the price to come and bounce off here, going down. Yeah, the price might come, break, this zone right here. But after breaking the zone, it could retest this zone. Then after retesting it, then we aim to this TP right here. But if it doesn't break and give us a rejection, because we are seeing some rejection right here, and we get another rejection right here, and this all rejection are confluence, because right here we have a fair value gap that is holding this 1 2 3 4, this rejection candle. I could take that as a buying opportunity and if I buy right there, I'm going to look for a TP where, let's see, there's no other TP, so I'm going to take a risk reward of 1:2. Of 1:2. If I buy here, I'm gonna take it around somewhere here because it's not guaranteed, or I could use the higher time frame for entry. Okay, that's our recap for this week, and let's meet on the next episode on the next week. Bye.